Part 17. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 161. A few days later, Shen Junqing was discharged from the hospital. Nan Yan was with Marcus at the time, purifying his blood. Then halfway through the purification, she received a call from him. "Sister, third brother is discharged today, aren't you coming?" The resentful tone sounded a little pitiful. "Don't you have someone to take care of you?" "It doesn't matter whether I go or not. But I want you to come." The gorgeous magnetic tone of the soul made Nan Yan tremble, and almost pierced the wrong acupuncture point for Marcus. "I'm busy, I don't have time, that's it." Nan Yan quickly hung up his phone. Shen Junqing looked at the hung-up phone, and the smile on his face froze. "Third master, are we discharged now?" Tang Cheng sensitively felt that the third master's mood was not very beautiful. "Is it because Miss Nan refused to take him out of the hospital?" "Yes, discharged." Shen Junqing's broken bones had almost healed under Nan Yan's special ointment. He originally planned to stay in the hospital for 10 days and wait for the bones to grow before being discharged. But during the past few days in the hospital, all kinds of women came here to bother him every day. In order to avoid the quiet, he decided to be discharged early. Now he can walk on the ground and has the ability to take care of himself, and he doesn't have to stay in the hospital and be served by others. Tang Cheng heard a positive answer and went to handle the discharge procedures for Shen Junqing. Hashtag. Yan Yan, who was that just now? Shen Junqing's intimate tone to Nan Yan made Marcus immediately alert. Nan Yan threw her mobile phone aside and pinched the silver needle to give him acupuncture, a childish and troublesome friend. "Are you on good terms with him?" Marcus' tone was a little sour. A friend who can let her use such an adjective to describe him must have a special status in her heart. "Well, it's pretty good." Marcus was hit hard. "How can you do this? After rebirth, it's okay not to contact him, but to make friends with other men. It's only been a few days. It took him several years to become friends with Nan Yan. It's so unfair. How can this be? What did I do?" Marcus snorted, "You hurt my young heart." Nan Yan. She reached out and poked Marcus's head. "Did you make your brain stupid by testing the poison?" Marcus almost couldn't catch his breath. "You made your brain stupid?" Nan Yan glanced at him carelessly. Marcus immediately became scared, and closed his eyes aggrievedly, and became autistic. Half an hour later, the blood purification was over, and Nan Yan took out the silver needle from his body. "Drink the medicine well, I'm leaving first. Can't you stay with me for a while longer?" Marcus felt very aggrieved. Every time they met, they only had this little time, and then she hurried to leave. He really wanted to spend more time with her. Even 10 minutes would be fine. "I have something to do, I'll stay with you next time when I'm free." Anziran was waiting for her. There were still 2 days before the competition. The AEG team finished their closed training. The last 2 days were for pre-match relaxation, and then they would fly to the city where the competition would take place. Nan Yan, as a replacement member, would naturally go with them. Well then. Marcus did not dare to delay her business, and watched her leave reluctantly. Hashtag. Wu Yu was waiting for someone in the lobby board. Suddenly he saw Nan Yan coming out of the elevator. "Why is Miss Nan Yan here? Shouldn't she be in school at this time? Is this, skipping classes again?" Wu Yu inexplicably felt that Nan Yan's appearance here was not a good sign. To be honest, he did not want to run into Nan Yan in this situation. After all, the person he was going to pick up later was a woman. "Wu Yu, why are you here?" As soon as Nan Yan came out of the elevator, she saw the very conspicuous Wu Yu. After all, a big man of 1.87 meters, among a group of people less than 1.8 meters tall, was a crane standing out among chickens. "Brother is here too." Miss Nan Yan, Wu Yu quickly put his expression back together. Young master is not here, I am here to pick someone up. He scratched his head, rolled his eyes twice, and asked boldly, why is Miss Nan Yan here? To be honest, this kind of question is not something an assistant like him can ask. But he is really curious. Nan Yan said slowly, a friend lives here, come here to treat him. Oh. Wu Yu reacted and felt guilty. Miss Nan Yan, where are you going? Do you need me to take you? Nan Yan glanced at him indifferently, aren't you waiting for someone? I will take a taxi myself. Okay, I will take a taxi for you. Wu Yu nodded and bowed to send Nan Yan out. And this scene happened to fall into the eyes of Luo Ling, who came out of the elevator. This was the first time Luo Ling saw Wu Yu being so respectful to others. And this person is still a little girl? Even if she only saw it from a distance, she could feel how outstanding Nan Yan's appearance was. Although she was wearing casual clothes, she was so pure and beautiful that it was disillusioning. Luo Ling suddenly felt a huge sense of crisis. She was pursuing Qin Lu. But Qin Lu said that he already had someone he liked and asked her not to waste her thoughts on him. Could this be the girl Qin Lu liked? Luo Ling couldn't help but grit her teeth and looked at Nan Yan, who had already walked to the door of the hotel. How dare a yellow-haired girl compete with her for the man she liked? Nan Yan had a strong sixth sense. The strong sense of being watched from behind made her look back. Luo Ling and her looked into each other's eyes. At a distance of more than 20 meters, Luo Ling met her cold gaze and still felt a palpitation, and her back couldn't help but feel cold. She hurriedly turned her eyes away and didn't dare to look at her again. Nan Yan frowned slightly. She didn't know this woman and had never met her. So, where did she come from to be so hostile to her? Maybe she would know when they met again. Hashtag. Wu Yu sent Nan Yan to the taxi before returning to the hotel lobby. Before entering the door, Wu Yu was still muttering in his heart, hoping that the eldest daughter of the Luo family hadn't come out. If she saw that he was not waiting for her here, who knows what would happen. As a result, when he entered the lobby, he saw Luo Ling sitting in the lounge. Wu Yu hurriedly strode over. Miss Luo, I'm sorry, I just had something to do and I kept you waiting. Luo Ling changed her previous stubbornness and willfulness, and instead seemed very approachable. It's okay, Assistant Wu, let's go quickly, don't let Mr. Qin wait too long. Wu Yu was ready to be blamed and complained, but when he heard her words, he was stunned for 2 seconds before reacting. Nodding, oh, okay, we'll go right away. Luo Ling talked to Wu Yu about all kinds of things in the car. Poor Wu Yu not only had to concentrate on driving, but also had to deal with her various inexplicable questions. His brain was confused when he was doing 2 things at the same time. Luo Ling felt that it was almost time, so she asked. Assistant Wu, who was the girl who talked to you in the hotel lobby before? Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 162. You're talking about Miss Nan Yan. Wu Yu said subconsciously. When the words came out, he suddenly reacted, and his nerves immediately became tense. God. He was actually tricked by this woman. She obviously wanted to trick him on purpose, so she kept him talking, causing him to be distracted and confused by her, so he said Miss Nan Yan's name. But once the words were spoken, it was too late for him to take them back. After thinking quickly, he decided to retreat and ask directly, why is Miss Luo suddenly interested in a high school student? It's nothing, I just think that girl is pretty. Luo Ling said casually and ignored Wu Yu. She lowered her head slightly and sent a message to her subordinates, with a sinister look in her eyes. Go and check for me a girl named Nan Yan, about 18 or 19 years old, very beautiful. The subordinates quickly replied, yes, miss. Luo Ling held her phone, feeling cold in her heart. No matter who it is that dares to steal a man from her, it will not end well. Hashtag. For the upcoming esports competition, Nan Yan will take about a week's leave. After coming out of the hotel, she took a taxi and went directly to Zhide High School. Lu Rongrong, you are really promising. You are running behind a country bumpkin from the countryside every day, and you even buy her snacks and food. Don't you think you have water in your head? I heard that you didn't hate her very much before? You were punished by her several times. Why are you now her little follower? You guys in class 2 and 4 of high school don't feel ashamed to call a country bumpkin boss. Several girls from class 1, grade 2, were surrounding Lu Rongrong, taunting her sarcastically. Although class 4 of the second grade of high school now recognizes Nan Yan because of her strength. But there are still many people who dislike Nan Yan. Especially her arrogant behavior makes people hate her even more, thinking that she is pretentious and a bitch, and not a good person. Lu Rongrong said angrily, "Who am I good to? What does it have to do with you? That is my freedom, you get out of the way." In the past, it was because she looked down on Nan Yan and was brainwashed by An Weiao, who told her how miserable Nan Yan was, that made her hate her. She was also stupid, and was used as a spear by An Weiao, targeting Nan Yan everywhere and causing trouble for her. But now she knows the mistakes she made before and wants to sincerely make amends. What does all this have to do with them? Hey, you have quite a temper. Zhang Wenqian, who was wearing a high ponytail, reached out and pushed Lu Rongrong. Does this road belong to your home? Why should you let us get out of the way? Lu Rongrong's eyes were red, her hands clenched into fists, and she gritted her teeth and said, "Zhang Wenqian, don't go too far. You're just a member of the Lu family, do you think I'm afraid of you?" Zhang Wenqian sneered, "I don't even dare to say anything to a country girl who came from the country to bully me. She actually dares to challenge me. You're going to fight me?" With that said, Zhang Wenqian raised her hand and was about to hit Lu Rongrong in the face. Lu Rongrong wanted to hide, but the two girls who came with Zhang Wenqian stood on either side of her, and she couldn't hide at all. He could only cover his face and stand there and let her hit him. Just when Zhang Wenqian's hand was about to fall on Lu Rongrong's head, her hand was suddenly hit by something. She screamed in severe pain and arched up while covering her hands. "Wen Qian, what's wrong with you?" "My hand, my hand, it hurts." Zhang Wenqian burst into tears from the pain, and the right wrist she was covering with her left hand was swollen. "Who hit me?" Zhang Wenqian gritted her teeth and screamed, "Who is it?" Lu Rongrong thought she was going to be beaten today, but instead of receiving the expected slap, she heard Zhang Wenqian screaming. She put down her hands, looked around, and saw Nan Yan walking towards her. She helped her. "Is something okay?" Nan Yan walked to her side and asked lightly. Lu Rongrong looked at her blankly, realized what she was asking, and quickly shook her head. "It's okay." "Is it you?" Zhang Wenqian wiped away tears and looked up at Nan Yan. "Why do you hit someone?" Nan Yan raised her eyebrows slightly. "Just because, I don't like you." "Hit my girl, classmate, are you arrogant?" Nan Yan didn't want to meddle in other people's business. But who wants to eat other people's mouths? During this period, Lu Rongrong fed her a lot and changed her attitude very well. She couldn't let others bully her in front of her. "Okay, you are awesome, right? Just wait for me." Zhang Wenqian didn't have the guts to take action against Nan Yan. After all, many of Nan Yan's heroic deeds are now posted on campus forums, and she is a proper violent woman. She didn't want to ask for trouble yet. She called the two people next to her and was about to leave. "Stop," Nan Yan said coldly, making her stand where she was. "Apologize to her." Zhang Wenqian suppressed her anger and said, "Nan Yan, don't go too far. If I don't apologize, I will do something even more egregious. Do you believe it?" Nan Yan pinched her wrist leisurely, and her tone was soft and cool. It was obviously a very calm tone, but it still conveyed a sense of oppression and strong threat. Nan Yan, forget it. Lu Rongrong carefully pulled Nan Yan's clothes, not wanting to make this matter too big. The Zhang family is indeed a level better than the Lu family. She didn't want to offend Zhang Wenqian. Nan Yan looked at her and sneered for a long time. Okay, you are the person involved, you say forget it, then forget it. She was too kind. She casually took her clothes back from Lu Rongrong's hand and looked at Zhang Wenqian with a cold gaze. Classmate, if you don't like me, just come to me next time. What kind of ability is it to trouble others? I'll wait. Nan Yan said and walked past them. Zhang Wenqian and the other two didn't dare to stop her at all. Lu Rongrong felt a piece of emptiness in her hand, and she felt a little sad for some reason. Did she say the wrong thing? You still don't leave, are you planning to skip class? Nan Yan's voice came faintly from the front. However, she didn't look back. Lu Rongrong knew that Nan Yan's words were said to her. Let's go. She glanced at Zhang Wenqian and hurriedly followed. Zhang Wenqian covered her painful hand and stared fiercely at the backs of the two people leaving. The two people on the side suddenly felt a little scared when they saw Zhang Wenqian's horrible appearance. Looking down, they saw that her wrist was getting more and more swollen, so they asked carefully, Wenqian, your hand doesn't look good, why don't you go to the hospital? Yes, Zhang Wenqian retracted her gaze and waited to deal with them later. Hashtag. At the fork in the road, Nanyan walked directly to the office. Seeing this, Lu Rongrong hurriedly asked, Nanyan, aren't you going to the class? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 163. Nan Yan replied expressionlessly, I'll go find the head teacher. You can go back by yourself. Oh. Lu Rongrong bit her lip, thank you for what happened just now. Just think of it as thanks for bringing me snacks these days. Nan Yan's tone was indifferent and he had no intention of talking to her anymore. He raised his hand and waved before walking away. Lu Rongrong looked at her back and stood there for a while, then sighed and walked to another road. She could feel Nan Yan's indifference towards her. I helped her just now just because she was trying to please her during this period. It's a pity that her cowardly behavior just now left a very bad impression on her, otherwise their relationship should have made some progress. It's too late to regret now. Hashtag. In the office, head teacher Yu is not there, only the dean is. Nan Yan simply asked for leave for him. It doesn't matter who you tell. You want to take a week off? Nanyan, are you kidding me? The dean banged the table and his voice was much louder than usual. Nan Yan leaned on her desk and nodded with a serious expression, well, dean, will you approve it or not? No, the dean refused without thinking. It is now the second half of their sophomore year in high school. In another half semester, they will be in their senior year and have a heavy workload. Moreover, she has already taken a lot of leave during this period, and her studies have been delayed a lot. If she takes another week, she will miss even more courses. Nan Yan said leisurely, if you don't approve, then I will have no choice but to miss class. Dean. He couldn't help but rub his temples, then tell me first, why are you taking so much leave? Nan Yan pondered for a moment, thought about it, and decided not to lie to him, play a game. Dean. He wants to curse. If it weren't for the little girl in front of him, who he loved so much, he would have wanted to hit her. When did this happen? Why don't you study hard and go to play games? Although the teaching director is quite old-fashioned, he also knows that the esports industry is developing rapidly and has become a complete industrial chain, and has also won many esports stars. Every industry has its own reasons for existence. He didn't want to comment on why other esports players neglected their studies and wasted their lives playing games. He just wanted to ask the little girl in front of him if she knew what she was doing. No, the teaching director took 2 deep breaths before he suppressed the overwhelming strength in his chest and did not storm out in front of Nan Yan. I don't allow it. Next time I take the monthly exam, I promise to be number 1 in my grade. Is that okay? If this doesn't work, then I will take part in the physics competition in half a month and get a gold medal for the school. Nan Yan negotiated with the teaching director in a good temper. After all, the dean was really kind to her, and she didn't want to make him too angry. After hearing what she said, the dean suddenly covered his chest and his voice trembled a little. Yan Yan, are you kidding me? Nan Yan looked at him calmly. I'm not joking. Okay, since you can guarantee your study, it's time to relax. You need to relax. I'll give you a week's holiday. With a wave of his hand, the dean wrote his name directly on the leave request form. Fortunately, teacher Zhang Cheyu is back now, otherwise there would be no one to teach those people in the computer class. Yesterday, the dean of students heard Zhang Chaoyuan complain to him, saying that Nan Yan taught more classes in a few days than he did in a month. The point is, those students mastered it very well and understood it thoroughly. He taught them yesterday, and those students kept looking at Nan Yan longingly, obviously wanting to let Nan Yan continue to teach them. What a genius is this! He dug it out. Maybe in the year after next, they can look forward to having one of the top 3 students in the country from Zhide High School. Yan Yan, although the holiday is given to you, you must take care of yourself outside and don't cause trouble, you know. The dean broke the old father's heart because of Nan Yan. Nan Yan nodded, okay. #Evening. Anziran contacted Nan Yan. He made a reservation at the hotel and had a meal with the team members. Especially the other members of the team, who have never seen her in person, are very curious about her. After all, the girl who tortured their entire team was a girl, and they had long wanted to meet her. There are only 2 days left before the competition, so satisfy their curiosity. Nan Yan hung up the phone from Anziran, turned to Qin Lu beside him and said, "Brother, if you're not busy, can you take me to the hotel?" Yes. Qin Lu controlled the steering wheel with one hand and found the location of the hotel on the navigation system. Qin Lu caught a glimpse of the girl's quiet look from the corner of his eye and said softly, "My brother is going back to the imperial capital in the next few days. If anything happens, please remember to contact me." Okay. Nan Yan held the phone in one hand and nodded casually. The perfunctory attitude was written all over his face. Qin Lu couldn't help but laugh. What a heartless little girl. There was no sign of reluctance at all. Pampered her for nothing. How could Nan Yan know what he was thinking? But for her, it was actually a bit of a relief. During this period of time, she was a little obsessed with being teased, and she felt a little lost in her mind. It would be better if he left quickly and let her calm down. Otherwise, if he seduced her and she lost control one day and did something that she would regret, wouldn't she be upset to death? Although beauty is attractive, the price of enjoying beauty is too high. She can't afford it now. After arriving at the hotel, Nan Yan unbuckled her seat belt and was about to get out of the car. "Little friend, don't be so heartless." She actually came to take him away without even saying goodbye. Isn't that a bit too much? I was planning to talk about it after getting off the car. Nan Yan explained to him that she was not planning to leave right after getting off the car, and then spread her hands. "You can't even wait for this little time, can you blame me?" Qin Lu was amused by her. "Are you calling me stingy in a roundabout way?" No. Nan Yan shook her head. "I'm not stingy at all." "Little liar." Qin Lu had an indulgent smile in his eyes. "Go, your 4th brother should take you back to the old house today, so I won't come to pick you up." Nan Yan nodded, and then waved to him, "Goodbye, brother." Qin Lu watched her figure enter the hotel gate, and then started the car again and left. Nan Yan entered the hall and called Anziran, "Fourth brother, I'm here, which room are you in?" "Yan Yan, you're here so fast?" "Fourth brother and the team are still on the way, it will probably take more than 10 minutes, you go to the room and wait for us for a while, the room number is." "I'll wait for you in the hall, and we'll go to the room together when you come." "That's fine." Nan Yan hung up the phone and found a quiet place to wait for Anziran and the others. In less than 2 minutes, a man came over. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 164. Hello, lady, are you interested in entering the entertainment industry? If you have such plans, I have a role here that is very suitable for you. Zhou Chongshan looked at the girl in front of him with a somewhat fanatical look. He couldn't suppress the excitement in his heart. Finally he found a suitable heroine. No one is more suitable for the heroine in his new drama than her. That role seemed to be tailor-made for her. When Nan Yan heard what he said, she raised her eyebrows casually and refused without any emotion, "Not interested." Zhou Chongshan was stunned. Obviously, he didn't expect that someone would reject him so flatly. Doesn't this girl know him? Zhou Chongshan looked at the girl's indifferent expression, as if she really didn't recognize him. No wonder. He took out a business card from his pocket and handed it over. "Don't refuse so quickly. This is my business card. I'm not a liar. You can check my identity online. If you change your mind, you can call me at any time." Nan Yan didn't want to take it at first, but seeing Zhou Chongshan's good attitude, he reached out and took it. "Can we add a contact number?" "Sorry, I don't add strangers." Director Zhou, who was rejected again, looked a little embarrassed. From the corner of his eyes, he caught sight of his friend who was already laughing, and he gritted his teeth. "Then think about it carefully. I sincerely want to invite you to be the heroine of my TV series. I hope to receive your call." After saying that, he returned to his friend a little defeated. "Director Zhou, you can't do this. I guess this little girl thinks you are a liar." The friend laughed and joked. Zhou Chongshan rolled his eyes at him angrily, poured a glass of wine to himself, took a sip, and then sighed, "It seems that I am not famous enough, so this little girl treats me as a liar. Director Zhou, if you are not famous enough, is there any director in China who can do it?" Then why didn't she agree? Zhou Chongshan has a weird personality, but he is famous. The TV series he directs are all hits without exception, and each TV series will make a large number of actors famous. A veritable star maker. How many people are trying to get into his dramas, but this great director only chooses roles based on suitability and acting skills. Otherwise, no matter how big an actor you are, you won't even be able to get in through the back door. He is obviously a stubborn and bad-tempered person, but as a result, he is admired by everyone in the circle as a tall image who is selfless, upright, and honest, and does not bow to the evil forces in the entertainment industry. It's really confusing. Hashtag. Nan Yan casually stuffed Zhou Chongshan's business card into his coat pocket, took out a lollipop, tore open the candy wrapper and put it in his mouth. "Then I put this little episode aside and didn't plan to think too much about it. Whether this person is the real director or not, it has nothing to do with her." A few minutes later, a dozen young men came in from outside. As soon as I walked in, my eyes were searching everywhere. Yan Yan. When Anziran saw Nan Yan, he grinned and waved to her. Nan Yan heard the sound and looked back. He spotted Anziran in the crowd at a glance. After all, her grandma gray hair is extremely conspicuous. She stood up and walked towards them. "Fourth brother. Wow. Is this the boss? So beautiful. Not only does the boss have great skills, he also has such good looks. Hey, Hey, I'm really happy to be trained by the boss during this time. Shut your mouths, what nonsense are you talking about? Anziran slapped them each, with an angry look on his face. If you dare to make fun of my sister, I'll beat you up. Captain, we just said it casually. And our sister is so pretty, she should be praised. What our sister? This is my sister. She is not your sister, so don't have random relationships. Anziran regretted a little and brought them to see his little sister. What should I do if Yanyan is frightened by a group of stinky men? Anziran quickly pulled Nanyan to the room they had booked. As he walked, he did not forget to say to her, Yanyan, ignore them. They have been suffocated during this period, and their brains are a little unclear. Captain, you are so bad. How can you speak ill of us in front of a great god? A group of teammates followed in protest. Soon, a group of young people entered the elevator. Because Zhou Chongshan was thinking about his heroine, his eyes were always focused here. Although he doesn't play esports, esports has become a celebrity nowadays, and everyone is in similar circles. He still knows Anziran. I know that he is a very famous esports star and the champion of the last individual competition. He seemed to hear the girl call him fourth brother. After struggling for a while, he took out his mobile phone and made a call. Help me check, what is the name of that famous esports star with granny gray hair, and his contact information. Hashtag. After entering the private room, even with Anziran there, I was finally able to get up close and personal with the master. Moreover, the master was as beautiful as a fairy, and they all approached him enthusiastically. Anziran wanted to stop him, but he couldn't. Nanyan listened to them saying great God and big brother to each other, and said slightly speechlessly, call me Nanyan. Is it really possible? Little K subconsciously looked at Anziran. The captain is a sister complex, and he is not allowed to joke with her. Every time she comes online, everyone cannot use dirty words, let alone say obscene words. To be honest, it is not that no one among them has a sister. But it is rare to have a sister complex to this extent. Nanyan raised her eyebrows, what else? What are you going to call me when we play together in the future? You are my fourth brother's teammates and friends, so just be casual and don't be so formal. Everyone nodded in surprise, okay, okay. Hee, I thought the boss was a very cold and domineering person, but now I find that Nanyan's sister is clearly a considerate little fairy. Nanyan. Where did they get this illusion? Anziran looked at the person who was talking coldly, with a sinister look and a sinister murderous intent. The man who was talking immediately shrank his neck and closed his mouth. Anziran slapped the table twice and said in a deep voice, no need to introduce yourself, sit down and order food. The captain spoke, angry, and the others hurriedly sat around the round table. Nanyan felt that her ears could finally be quiet for a while. Rubbing her earlobe, she sat next to Anziran. Anziran was afraid that she would be impatient, so after glaring at them, he said gently, they are too noisy, Yanyan, you don't have to pay attention to them. Yet it was indeed quite noisy. Next time, don't call them, just the two of us brothers and sisters will eat together. Nanyan nodded happily, okay. Everyone. Heartbroken. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 165. After ordering the dishes, it took a little longer to wait for the dishes to be served. The rest of the people looked at Anziran's threatening eyes and didn't dare to get close to Nanyan anymore. One by one, they took out their phones and browsed the internet. Suddenly, Xiao Ke said angrily, Boss, Bai Hoxwan is bullying you on Weibo again. Bai Hoxwan is the captain of another star team. He is very strong and one of the favorites to win the championship. In China, it is considered a super team that can compete with AEG. And their two teams have always been at odds, which is no secret in the esports circle. Anziren's expression was slightly cold. Don't pay attention to him, let him jump around first, and then slap him in the face when we get to the game. The other teammates were not happy. How can this work? This kid has been shouting on Weibo. If we don't reply, aren't we admitting defeat? He said something particularly excessive this time. Captain, are you sure we want to be cowards? Captain, anyway, it's known to the whole network that we don't have a good relationship, why should we give them face? Anziren thought about it and it was the case. She took out her phone, logged into her Weibo account, and circled BeautifulFemaleLead directly at BeautifulFemaleLead's mouth is nothing, he can beat me in the game. A loser. Hashtag. Then other team members forwarded Anziren's Weibo, and then added a thumbs down at the end. Nanyan doesn't use Weibo, and rarely reads these things. She only does it when she is teaching someone a lesson. Someone was dragging down Anziren, so she also logged in and took a look. Then she opened his homepage and scrolled down carelessly. There were many messages on BeautifulFemaleLead's homepage that deliberately dragged down and implied Anziren, which made her feel very uncomfortable. Nanyan directly cracked BeautifulFemaleLead's account password. Logged in, cleared all the messages related to Anziren, and then sent a message I am a pig and logged off his account again. Is BeautifulFemaleLead stupid? Ha ha ha, he actually called himself a pig. Really? Oh my god, it's so funny. He was so angry that he wanted to scold us, but ended up scolding himself. Hurry up and take a screenshot, just in case he realizes it and deletes it. Nanyan licked her lips. He couldn't delete it without telling them. Hashtag. At the same time, BeautifulFemaleLead was cursing with Anziren's teammates in private messages on Weibo. The result showed that his account was logged in from another place, and he was kicked off. After a moment of hesitation, he quickly logged in again. As a result, he logged in for a long time and couldn't get in at all. He even tried to retrieve his password and appeal, but it was useless. He had no choice but to log in again and again, hoping to squeeze out the person who stole his account. After trying no less than 20 times, he finally logged in. Before he had time to change his password, the private chat was blown up. Captain, what are you crazy about? Why are you calling yourself a pig? Captain Bai, are you dizzy from the blow? Did you send the message with your eyes closed? Yes, you are a pig, a stupid pig. Oh my god, what's going on? How can someone scold me so harshly? BeautifulFemaleLead was confused, and then he reacted and immediately went to his homepage to see. On the homepage, the latest post showed 3 words in bold and enlarged 2 minutes ago, I am a pig. He almost smashed his phone. Who did this? BeautifulFemaleLead cursed angrily and quickly deleted the message. As a result, no matter how he operated, it showed that it could not be deleted. What happened? BeautifulFemaleLead tried several times and still couldn't delete it, so he called the complaint hotline and asked the Weibo operation team to delete the message for him. However, the staff said that they couldn't delete it either. The staff called and said politely, Mr. Bai, did you offend some hacker boss? Your Weibo is locked now, and we can't control it at all. How should I know? BeautifulFemaleLead scratched his hair in annoyance. He just pulled down Anziren, how could he offend the hacker boss? And which hacker boss would be so idle that he would steal his account just to post this message? It's unlikely, right? I don't care, you must do it for me, or I will complain to you. Mr. Bai, even if you complain to us, we can't solve it, or you can find a hacker to try. BeautifulFemaleLead. Where the hell can he find a hacker? The message has been hanging on his homepage, and he can't turn off the comments. There are all sarcasm below. Teammate, friends, family, all called to ask what happened, and he couldn't explain it clearly. Finally, BeautifulFemaleLead was tired of being asked, so he closed Weibo directly and went out to find someone to drink and relieve his sorrow. Hashtag. What do you think he is playing? This message has been up for so long, and it hasn't been deleted yet. I almost laughed my ass off when I saw the comments below. Who knows, maybe he suddenly discovered his true nature and bravely admitted his attributes. Ha 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 ha, wait until we meet and see if he still has the face to be arrogant in front of us. I can't wait to get to the day of the game and taunt him in front of him. I really haven't felt so happy in a long time. Pa. Anziran knocked on the table. Okay, you all should calm down. Also, little D, no swear words are allowed. Little D glanced at the cold and indifferent Nan Yan, and said sarcastically, Captain, I was wrong. He was so proud that he actually forgot that there was Sister Nan Yan here, so he couldn't use foul language. Everyone had laughed enough, and the food was served. Captain, why didn't you order a drink? There's a competition in just over a day. What kind of drink should you drink? Anziran glared at her coldly. If you want to drink, then work hard. I'll let you drink as much as you can during the celebration banquet. I ordered juice and I drank it for a while. All right. Wrongful. Big man, who wants to drink? But who let the captain be the boss? They only dared to complain in their hearts and did not dare to put it on the surface. Anziran looked back at Nan Yan, her face changed, and she said softly. By the way, Yan Yan, the fourth brother made a team uniform for you. You and the fourth brother will go back and get it later. Okay, Nan Yan nodded. Actually, there's no rush. We have to go to the airport together tomorrow. Look at you, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Anziran looked like he was the biggest control of his sister. By the way, Yan Yan, are you still living in the old house now? Then I will go to the old house to stay today. After eating and drinking, Anziran left the other teammates alone and drove directly, taking Nan Yan to his residence to get his luggage. Nan Yan thought Anziran was going to take her to Angia. As a result, the car stopped outside a completely unfamiliar apartment. Fourth brother, when did you move out? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 166. Anziran was unbuckling his seat belt. When he heard Nan Yan's question, he was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, after you moved out of the house. Living at home is too annoying. How can it be as comfortable as living outside? Nan Yan did not ask this question again, but changed the subject and looked at him and asked, fourth brother, do you want to take over the company? This time, Anziran was really stunned. Yan Yan, why do you suddenly ask this? He had a feeling that Nan Yan was not asking casually. But the company has the eldest brother and the second brother, no matter how many turns, it will not be his turn. And he has never thought about managing the company. Now all his thoughts are on developing his team. I don't like them, and they keep causing trouble for me. Because of my grandfather's face, I can't let the Yan family go bankrupt. If they make me angry, I plan to change the owner of the Yan family. Nan Yan did not hide her thoughts. If the Yan family does not know how to restrain themselves, she will not show mercy. What they owe to the original owner, she will get it back for her. Anziran. Nan Yan is so disappointed with the Yan family. But think about it, the things her parents did and their attitude towards her are really unbearable. But this is to change the head of the Yan family. If someone else said it, he would never believe it. But for some reason, when Nan Yan said this, he inexplicably felt that she had the ability. Maybe it was because her gaming skills were too high that he blindly worshipped her? Anziran scratched his dazzling short hair and laughed dryly. Yan Yan, I'm not good at managing a company, and managing a large family is too stressful for me. In comparison, I still prefer to do what I want to do. Nan Yan looked at him speechlessly, unbuckled her seat belt, and got out of the car neatly. Anziran thought Nan Yan was unhappy, so he quickly followed her and said to her, Yan Yan, don't be angry, maybe they are not so hopeless, what if they can be saved? If mom and dad can't do it, then there are still Big Brother and his family. In the past, Big Brother and his family were deceived by Nweo. Now they know her nature. Give them a process of acceptance, and they will correct it. If it doesn't work again, don't you still have yourself? You are also a member of the N family. Grandpa has given you all the shares under his name. When the time comes, the fourth brother will give you his shares, and you will be the owner of the most shares. Even if dad and his family don't agree, you will inherit the N family. Nan Yan pinched her eyebrows. Fourth brother, you are so noisy. Okay, I won't make trouble with you. Anziran smiled embarrassedly and closed his mouth. Nan Yan's eyes were a little gloomy. She has nothing to do, so why bother herself? To be honest, she really doesn't like the N family. But the N family must be taught a lesson. We'll see when the time comes. Hashtag. After going upstairs, Anziran gave the team uniform to Nan Yan, and then he was very excited and wanted her to try it out to see the effect. Nan Yan couldn't bear to reject his kindness, so she took off her school uniform jacket and put on the team uniform slowly. AEG's team uniform is more middle school style. It was designed by the artist after combining the costumes in several comics that Anziran gave him. So it is more comic style. But it is undeniable that people with good figures and high looks look very good in it. Nan Yan stroked the dark pattern embroidery on the collar and was quite satisfied. Yan Yan, stand there and don't move, I'll take a picture. Anziran took out his mobile phone in an excited voice, found a good angle, and took several consecutive photos. Yan Yan, can fourth brother post the photos on Weibo? Let those teams keep attacking them as the monk team, and there are no girls in the team. Is this called no? His sister's beauty is obviously not even comparable to the girls in the entertainment industry, enough to crush all the girls in other teams. As a player of our team, you should have been officially announced. Anziran was afraid that she would disagree, so he quickly pulled out the convention. Well, whatever you want. Nan Yan had no objection. After all, her former enemies didn't know her now, so she wasn't afraid of being exposed. Anziran got permission and quickly went to post on Weibo happily. Hashtag official announcement, AEG's first female player, grand appearance. Hashtag. Below is a photo of Nan Yan wearing the team uniform. In the photo, Nan Yan stood casually, with a stunning face, cold and stunning. A pair of thin and straight long legs under the school uniform skirt, a small waist that could be held in one hand, and a team uniform with a strong middle school style, wearing it, made her look like a goddess from a comic book. A pair of cold and thin peach blossom eyes, looking at the camera carelessly, that sideways glance, crazy and with a kind of abstinence-like teasing. Too killer. It's simply popular with both men and women. After Anziran posted it, the other members of the team almost went crazy. In the comment section, he called out to the big boss and asked for help. After all, he knew how perverted the captain's sister complex was, so he didn't dare to say anything nonsense. But the fans and passers-by in the comment section said something a bit too much. Ah, the little sister is so sexy, I can do it. My blood tank is about to be empty, Nanny, come and replenish my blood. Beauty, please don't pity me, torture me hard. I have a dream object tonight. Anziran looked at the people in the comment section who were still fantasizing about his sister, and his face suddenly changed. He was too careless. I forgot how many LSPS there were on Weibo. He wanted to show off his sister, but he couldn't tolerate someone having wild thoughts about his sister's photo. The next second, he directly deleted the official message announcing Nan Yan's photo. Nan Yan was messaging Shen Junking just now. Feeling the anger coming from Anziran, she couldn't help but look up and ask. What's wrong? Who made you angry? Anziran shook his head, nothing, I was disgusted by netizens. He didn't dare to tell Nan Yan about the photo, fearing that she would be angry too. Yan Yan, wait for fourth brother. Fourth brother will pack 2 clothes and we will go to the old house. Okay. Hashtag. Zhou Chongshan had just returned home and poured a glass of water. Before he drank it, his cell phone rang. Director Zhou, look at the photo I sent you. What photo? It's the esports star you asked me to check for you. He sent a photo before, and I think it looks very similar to the heroine of your new drama. Fortunately, I saved it quickly, and the photo has been deleted now. Okay, I'll take a look first. Zhou Chongshan already had a candidate for the heroine, and now he heard that there is someone suitable. It feels that no one will be more suitable than the girl he saw in the hotel. But since he said so, he still went to take a look. Opening WeChat and clicking the dialog box, his eyes were glued to the photo. Zhou Chongshan enlarged the photo and his eyes widened subconsciously. This is the girl he saw in the hotel. This temperament, this appearance, is amazing. It's like his heroine is alive. He swore that no matter what method he used, he must let her star in his new drama. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 167. Zhou Chongshan quickly called his friend again and asked him to give him Anziran's contact information immediately. He was afraid of long nights and many dreams, so it was better to make a decision as soon as possible so that he could feel relieved. Hashtag. Anziran packed up his things and the two returned to the car. After getting in the car and as soon as he fastened his seat belt, Anziran's cell phone rang. Still a strange number. Could it be a sponsor? Before every competition, many sponsors call him and want to cooperate with him so that their products can be used in the competition. But the sponsor of this competition was decided very early. If you call him so late, no matter how high the conditions are, you won't be able to make it in time. However, he still has to answer the phone calls from others. Hello, I'm Anziran. After Anziran got through, he first announced his identity. Hello, Mr. An, I am Zhou Chongshan. It turns out to be Director J, hello. Anziran felt that the name Zhou Chongshan seemed familiar. For a moment, he couldn't remember who it was. I'm not Director J Zhou, I'm Director Zhou, Zhou Chongshan emphasized a little more, Mr. An, I want to talk to you about your sister. My sister, Anziran subconsciously looked at Nan Yan, what's wrong? The next second, Anziran suddenly reacted. Zhou Chongshan. Why would this big director personally call a little guy like him? Still looking for his sister? That's right, I think your sister is very suitable for the heroine of my next film, and I want to sign a contract with her. Before Zhou Chongshan finished speaking, Anziran hung up the phone. Zhou Chongshan. Why hang him? Does he look that much like a liar? Nan Yan looked at him, whose phone number? Liar. Anziran gritted his teeth. It must be because of the photo he sent. Some people took a fancy to Yanyan's potential and wanted to trick her into entering the entertainment industry. Snort. Who dares to say that he is Zhou Chongshan? Even if he says he is Li Jing's, he can still believe it. How could someone like Director Zhou contact him? Then ignore him. Anziran directly blocked Zhou Chongshan's phone number and then drove. Over there, Zhou Chongshan called Anziran again, only to find that he was blacklisted by the other party. Zhou Chongshan. This is the first time that the dignified Director Zhou has been blacklisted. He used to block others. After becoming furious, Director Zhou suppressed his temper again, borrowed a phone from Byren, and continued to call Anziran. Anziran frowned when he heard the ringtone. Why are there so many calls today? Yan Yan, help fourth brother answer them. Nan Yan picked up his mobile phone, clicked on answer, and turned on the speakerphone. Hello, Mr. An, I am really Zhou Chongshan. How about I give you my ID number? Zhou Chongshan was afraid that Anziran would mistake him for a liar again, so he took the lead in attacking. Why is it him again? Anziran couldn't help but complain. Yan Yan, ignore him, he is a liar. Zhou Chongshan, I am really not a liar. Well, he is not a liar, Nan Yan said calmly. I met him when we were in the hotel, and he gave me a business card. That's right. I'm really not a liar. Zhou Chongshan became emotional because his identity was recognized for the first time. Mr. An, I'm here to find you sincerely. Anziran. He was so excited that the steering wheel almost turned sideways. Fortunately there are no cars here, otherwise something would have happened. Director Zhou, I'm sorry, I thought you were a liar before, so, hee. It's okay, it's just that I didn't think well and didn't think that one day I would be regarded as a liar. Zhou Chongshan said very humorously, I just want to ask Mr. An, does your sister have any intention to develop into the entertainment industry? I sincerely invite her to film and be the heroine of my next drama. Ah, just tell my sister about this. Yan Yan, Director Zhou wants to film a movie with you. What do you think? Anziran was still feeling excited. Director Zhou came to his door in person and wanted to invite the female lead for his next drama. What is the probability? I'm afraid even buying lottery tickets is not as unlikely as this. As long as Yan Yan is serious about acting, this drama will definitely make her famous for 3 to 5 years. Director Zhou's reputation and reputation are both guaranteed. The male and female protagonists of every drama he shoots are now top-notch people in the entertainment industry. A veritable star-making hand. As a result, before he could finish thinking happily, he heard his sister reply without any fluctuation in her tone, not interested. Director Zhou, I don't want to act or enter the entertainment industry. That's it? I'm done. Click. The call was hung up mercilessly for the second time. Zhou Chongshan looked at his mobile phone, a little doubtful about life. Anziran was shocked by Nan Yan's behavior. That's Director Zhou. The first time he failed, he still didn't know how to be afraid. But I already know this. He swallowed and asked, Yan Yan, you really don't want to act? Director Zhou's scenes are really difficult to get into. Usually he has to personally select the male and female leads. It's a rare thing for him to choose you. Nan Yan looked indifferent, it's a waste of time and troublesome. If I have this time to waste, it would be great if I could make some money. She still lacks so much money for her laboratory. If she doesn't work harder, she probably won't be able to afford it in another year. Being a star makes a lot of money, Anziran explained to her. Look at those famous big stars. Usually, they start with tens of millions for a movie, and some directly make hundreds of millions. There are also various variety shows. It costs a lot of money to invite them to the show. Fourth brother is also a niche star. The last show started with 10 million, and the shooting time was only a few days. Sometimes it might be 2 or 3 hours. Those top stars make even more, earning more than 1 billion a year, just like a joke. Nan Yan, so that's it? She didn't expect that being an actor could make so much money. Although she could earn several million or 10 million by racing once, it was risky. And being a star, just acting and shooting something, can make so much money. Thinking of this, she didn't seem to be so resistant to acting. After Anziran and others talked for a long time, they reacted, Yan Yan, are you short of money? If you need money, tell your fourth brother. The fourth brother has saved a lot over the years, all earned by running his own team, and has nothing to do with the An family. Nan Yan refused, no, fourth brother, You should keep the money for yourself. If I need money, I will find a way to earn it myself. Yan, you don't have to be so polite to the fourth brother. The fourth brother can't spend much by himself, and I just need someone to help me spend money. Tell me how much you need. The fourth brother will transfer it to you later. Nan looked at him dimly. I need at least tens of billions, and this is just the initial investment. The laboratory burns money like water. If you really want to run it, the number you need must be multiplied by at least 10. Enziron. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 168. Yan, what do you want to do? Enziron couldn't figure out how a little girl could spend more than $1 billion. This amount could buy the central building. It's useful. Nan didn't plan to explain to Enziron. Anyway, I'm just short of money. If that director comes to me again, I might consider it. Enziron saw that Nan didn't want to talk to him, so he didn't ask any more. He drove the car in silence, and planned to make a lot of money. Little sister needs so much money. If she only relies on herself, when can she make enough? He has to help make money together. Hashtag. Although Enziron deleted the photo of Nan, many people saved it in time and spread it in their respective social circles. And Luoling also saw the photo. It turned out to be the biological daughter of the Yan family who grew up in the countryside. There was a cold light in her eyes. Looking at the cold and unruly girl in the photo, she was even more jealous. Even though she always thought she was naturally beautiful, her advantage was completely destroyed in front of Nan. The point is, she is younger than her. It is no wonder that an 18-year-old girl would be treated differently by a man like Qin Lu, who is as cold as ice. She absolutely cannot let such a threatening person stay with Qin Lu. Luoling gritted her teeth and scribbled on the photo of Nan with graffiti, making her face black, and her complexion improved a little. She restored her phone to the desktop, opened the phone book, found Bai Hoxuan's name, and dialed it. Hoxuan, are you going to play against AEG in the next few days? Yes, cousin. Are you also paying attention to this game? Bai Hoxuan was in the bar, and the background music was a bit messy. No, I don't have time to watch and pay attention to those things. Luoling's tone was full of arrogance, and she obviously looked down on esports players like Bai Hoxuan. In her opinion, they are a group of people who do nothing, waste time and life, and do nothing. Luoling looked unhappy, but the person in front of him was Luoling, so he didn't dare to act rashly even if he was angry. He could only suppress his temper and ask, then cousin, what do you want to talk to me about? I hate Enziron's sister. Since you are competing with her, I want to assign you a task. Bai Hoxuan's eyes lit up. What task? He also saw the photo posted by Enziron. Then he looked through the comments and found out that the girl was actually Enziron's biological sister. Even if he had opinions about Enziron and didn't like him, he had to say that his sister was really pretty. That cold and indifferent look made people's hearts itch. It made people want to do something evil to her. This is the bad root of men. Luoling gathered the hair by her ears, with a sneer on the corner of her mouth, and said, I will send someone over tomorrow and tell you what you should do then. I know, cousin. Hashtag. The next day, Nan and the others came to T-City. That is where the competition was held. As soon as they got off the car, the enthusiastic fans of the AEG team surrounded Enziron and the others. The members of the team all wore masks and carried shoulder bags, and then waved to the fans who greeted them. Sister, look at me, someone suddenly shouted in the crowd. Nan subconsciously looked over and saw a cute girl handing her a cup of milk tea. She was stunned for a moment, then took it and nodded to her, thank you. Sister, you have to work hard. Sister-in-law fans will support you as much as they support your brother. The cute girl's eyes flashed with excitement. Nan Yan glanced at Anziran, then handed him the milk tea. "Help me get it." Anziran. Although he was puzzled, he still took it very quickly. Nan Yan took out a few lollipops from his coat pocket and put them in the hands of the cute girl. He pulled down the mask again and raised his eyebrows at them. "Thank you for your support over the years on behalf of my fourth brother." "Aw. Sister, you are so good." A group of sister-in-law fans couldn't help screaming. "Sister, you are so pretty. You are even prettier in person than in the photo. Sister, come and look at my sister-in-law." Xiaoke looked at the scene and couldn't help but feel his scalp tingling. "Captain, your girlfriend fans seem to be wrong." "It's fine, what's wrong?" Anziran didn't think there was anything wrong. Isn't it just right that his fans like Yan Yan? Xiaoke couldn't tell what was wrong, so he had to shake his head. "No." On the other side, Bai Hoxuan's team just arrived. After Bai Hoxuan got off the car, he saw Nan Yan surrounded by fans. There is only one female member in AEG, and she just joined, so it's easy to identify. And he took a quick glance and happened to see the moment when Nan Yan pulled down her mask. I was immediately shocked. Unexpectedly, she was even more stunning in person than in the photo. When he saw the photo yesterday, he thought Anziran had photoshopped and beautified the photo. After all, Nan Yan's appearance is more stunning than many female stars, and it is easy to doubt its authenticity. His heart was beating wildly in an instant. He couldn't help but look forward to what the task his cousin was going to give him was. Concentrating his mind, Bai Hoxuan looked at Anziran fiercely again, and walked towards the fans who came to greet them with his teammates. Hashtag. After coaxing people, Nan Yan pulled the mask back. "Dear sister-in-law fans, see you on the field." "Yeah, okay. Come on, sister." A group of fans who were originally Anziran didn't pay any attention to him at all, and their eyes were always on Nan Yan, unable to move away. They went all the way to the hotel prepared by the organizer for them, and the fans stayed outside because of the security guards' obstruction. Entering the hotel lobby, it was quiet in an instant. And Bai Hoxuan's team just walked in. The two were tit for tat on weekdays, and now they were face to face, meeting on a narrow road, and they disliked each other even more. However, Anziran didn't want to be too vulgar in front of Nan Yan because she was there today. He simply pretended not to see him and walked away without looking at him. Bai Hoxuan's face suddenly became gloomy when he was ignored like this. He snorted coldly. They didn't even say hello when they met. Is AEG afraid of our king team? But it's true. Chen Lang can't play this year. You are missing a main attacker. It's inevitable that you feel guilty. He raised his voice a little and sneered, "Anziran, let's see how you can beat me." Anziran stood still, turned around, and looked at him with indifferent eyes and sneered, "You always say harsh words in front of me, and you always lose to me. Bai Hoxuan, I really admire your shamelessness. What is it made of? It's so thick." "What did you say?" You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 169. Bai Hoxuan's eyes were sharp, and he looked at Anziran with anger. "Are you deaf?" Anziran raised his eyebrows, and the sarcasm came to his face. A double entendre. Ha 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 ha. Xiaoke and others laughed. Bai Hoxuan's face was livid. Being ridiculed in public like this made him lose face. At that moment, he was hot-headed and waved his hand to hit Anziran regardless of the requirements of the competition system. Because the esports players are basically teenagers and passionate young people in their teens and 20s, a slight bump can easily turn into a fight. So in order for the competition to be held normally, all kinds of physical conflicts are strictly prohibited during the competition. Violators will be banned if the situation is serious. Anziran and Baihoxwan are also mortal enemies, but although they have verbally attacked each other for so many years, it is the first time they have fought during the competition. Before he could react, Baihoxwan had already rushed in front of him. When he came to his senses and was about to dodge, a thin white hand blocked Baihoxwan's fist. Yan Yan! Anziran exclaimed, turned around and angrily hit Baihoxwan in the face. Baihoxwan's hand was grabbed by Nan Yan, and there was no place to hide, and he was hit in the face. After hitting Baihoxwan, Anziran nervously supported Nan Yan's hand. Yan Yan, are you okay? Does it hurt? What are you blocking? I'm a big man and it's okay to get hit. What if your thin arm gets hurt? His sister relies on her hands to make a living. I'm fine. Nan Yan put down Anziran's sleeves that he had pulled up in a hurry. After confirming that Nan Yan was really fine, Anziran looked at the man who was covering his face and crying with a gloomy face, Baihoxwan, you are looking for death. He gritted his teeth and rushed to beat him again. Baihoxwan was not a person who would stand and get beaten, and the two of them twisted into a ball. At this time, the other members of the two teams reacted and hurried to stop the fight. Hashtag. Two captains fighting in public is a very serious matter. Moreover, this is the hotel lobby. Fans who were stopped outside by security can see everything that happened here through the glass door. When the stadium management came, both teams had been taken into the room. We must give an explanation to the fans and the audience about this matter. The two captains must be punished accordingly for violating the rules. Considering the contributions you have made to the esports industry, the organizer did not disqualify your two teams, but both captains will be suspended 3 times. Do you accept the punishment? Anziran and Baihoxwan suppressed their temper and nodded in agreement. In addition, we will arrange a live broadcast for you today to apologize to the audience and then give the illusion that you have reconciled. I hope the two captains can cooperate. Anziran. Baihoxwan. The two glanced at each other and turned away coldly. Even so, they still had to obey the organizer's arrangements. The live broadcast was held in an hour, and the two captains were sent back to prepare first. Hashtag. Anziran went to find Nan Yan first. Nan Yan was watching the group of children in the 2nd grade class 4 group chatting. They knew she was going to participate in the competition today, and they all asked her in the group if she had arrived at the venue, and wanted to see the photos of the scene. If it was before, Nan Yan would not pay attention to them, and she would not even bother to look at the group. It was just that they called her boss recently, and seeing their attitude change, Nan Yan also changed her attitude towards them accordingly. We haven't arrived at the venue yet, we are in the hotel, and we will take pictures of you when we arrive at the venue. Boss is awesome. Boss, you are so nice. A neat row of flatterers below. Hearing the knock on the door, Nan Yan put down her phone and went to open the door. Anziran came in a hurry and asked nervously, Yan Yan, is your hand really okay? No, let's go for a checkup. Baihoxwan, that dog thing, is still very strong. He is strong. Nan Yan looked at Anziran with a look of are you kidding me, just him. Anziran. Isn't it? How can a big man be stronger than a little girl? How much strength can a loser who has been drained of alcohol and sex have? With his strength, he is not capable of hurting me. Nan Yan was just stating a fact objectively. Anziran felt that he was also disliked by his sister. He had been addicted to esports for a long time and was too lazy to exercise, so his physical fitness declined greatly. He used to run 10,000 meters in one breath without feeling tired, but now he would be out of breath even if he ran 1,000 meters. Thinking of this, Anziran secretly decided to take an hour every day to exercise. Otherwise, if he encountered such a thing in the future, Yan Yan would have to come out to protect him, and he, as the 4th brother, would be too embarrassed. As they talked, the brother and sister went to the sofa. Nan Yan sat down in her original position, holding her phone to read the chat in the group, and asked, by the way, what did the organizer say? Anziran curled his lips, that bastard and I were banned 3 times, and then I will apologize to the fans on the live broadcast later, and then make a false handshake and make peace. Fortunately, AEG now has Yan Yan, otherwise he was banned and Chen Lang was sick and couldn't come. It is very likely that the team would not advance to the finals. Nan Yan patted him on the shoulder with pity, don't be impulsive next time, it's not too late to deal with him after the game. Oh. Anziran inexplicably felt that his and Yan Yan's identities had been swapped. Putting away the messy thoughts in his mind, Anziran stood up, I'll go change my clothes first, make myself more handsome, and crush him in terms of appearance. Okay, I'll go with you later. Okay. Hashtag. An hour later, Nan Yan and Anziran came to the live broadcast room. Bai Hoxwan had just arrived. He was punched in the face by Anziran. After returning, he applied ice to it. The swelling is not so much, but there is an obvious bruise. In order to look good on camera, the makeup artist covered it with thick foundation before coming, so the makeup was a bit exaggerated. Seeing Anziran's face that could make him a member of the entertainment industry, Bai Hoxwan's eyes flashed a cold light. Dare to hit him in the face, he will destroy his face. The 2 captains are here, both of you go in. The field staff saw the 2 and hurriedly called them in. With a glance, he saw the girl following Anziran. Nan Yan wore a black mask, revealing only her clear and cold eyes, which made people unable to look away. This lady is. Anziran calmly blocked Nan Yan and said indifferently, my sister Nan Yan is also a member of AEG in this competition. Missin, can you show your face in the camera later? The highlights of esports competitions are passion and technology, and the second is to see handsome boys and beautiful girls. The girl in front of me is so attractive even with a mask on. If she takes off the mask, won't she be stunning? My last name is not An, Nan Yan said in a faint voice, also, if you want me to be in the camera during the live broadcast, you can pay me. The field staff. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 170. There are indeed people who ask for money for live broadcasting. But they are all famous people. A new girl who has not even played in the arena, actually asked for money all the time. This is the first time that the venue staff has seen such a materialistic person. Okay, how much do you want? The tone of the venue staff was already slightly unhappy, but the expression on his face was not very obvious. Nan Yan raised her eyebrows casually, this time the appearance time will not be too long, it's the first time, just a token, give me 100,000. The venue staff. She really dared to open her mouth. This live broadcast is estimated to be less than 10 minutes, and she dared to ask for 100,000 yuan as soon as she opened her mouth. What do you mean by a token? Are you crazy about money? Mr. An, your sister really likes to joke. The venue staff looked at Anziran with a fake smile, and couldn't suppress the sarcasm in his eyes. I never joke. Nan Yan casually rolled her long hair, think about it, if you give me money, I will go live with them, if you don't give me money, don't bother me. Her time is precious, and she is too lazy to waste it with them. No need. The field attendant sneered, looked at Nan Yan and Anziran with a weird look, then opened the door and entered the live broadcast room. Anziran said, Yan Yan, wait for me here, I will come out soon. Nan Yan responded impatiently. Anziran followed the field attendant and entered the live broadcast room. Bai Hoxwan suddenly took a step towards Nan Yan and approached her. Nan Yan raised her eyes coldly, what's wrong with you? Your name is Nan Yan, right? Bai Hoxwan posed in a self-proclaimed handsome posture, if you are short of money, why don't you come to me? I have nothing but money. Nanyan's eyes were cold, and she asked with a smile, "How much can you give me to poach me?" "How much do you want?" Bai Hoxuan approached Nanyan and smelled the cold and faint fragrance emanating from her. When he thought of her stunning face, he couldn't help but let his imagination run wild, and his eyes became blurred. Nanyan wanted to kick him and send him flying. But thinking that the fourth brother had been banned, if she was also banned because of fighting, AEG would be in danger. Then wait until the game is over, and then deal with him. Nanyan said indifferently, "One game, 100 million. Bai Hoxuan. Who does she think she is? Even the world champion dare not say that he wants 100 million appearance fee for one game." Bai Hoxuan was so angry that he left. Because of her greed, he suddenly woke up, and his obsession with her turned into contempt. "No wonder my cousin hates her." Bai Hoxuan snorted coldly and turned to the live broadcast room. Originally, he wanted to be gentle with her, but now it seems that there is no need at all. Birds of a feather flock together. Anxiron's sister is as annoying as Anxiron. Hashtag. In the live broadcast room, in order to deal with public opinion and to continue the game, Anxiron and Bai Hoxuan pretended to put aside their past grudges and reconcile in front of the camera. Then they apologized to the audience first, saying that they set a bad example and reflected deeply that they should not have taken action. Finally, they said "I'm sorry" to the public with deep emotion, and the two shook hands in a friendly manner. When the field staff said it's okay, the two separated instantly, and then rubbed their hands on each other at the same time. This is blatant, treating each other as viruses and dirty things. Seeing this, the person in charge quickly advised, "Two captains, no one cares what you do in private, but I hope you can maintain a false appearance of peace in front of the media and the camera, and I hope you can restrain yourself." Anxiron nodded, "Yeah. I'm sorry to trouble the organizer." Bai Hoxuan is also a good person, and repeatedly said that he would not be like someone else. In this way, the two completed the task and were allowed to leave the live broadcast room. When walking out, Bai Hoxuan took advantage of the time when he was close to Anxiron and suddenly said in a low voice, "Anxiron, you and your sister are really the same kind of people. Your sister is probably willing to sell her body for money." As soon as he finished speaking, Anxiron punched him in the mouth with an angry fist, followed by another kick. Bai Hoxuan said this deliberately to provoke Anxiron. "I was also prepared to be beaten by him. But I didn't expect that Anxiron would be so cruel. You bastard, if you say another word of nonsense, I'll tear your mouth apart." Anxiron's eyes were red with anger, and he was completely out of control, punching and kicking Bai Hoxuan. Bai Hoxuan had no power to fight back from the first blow, and was beaten very miserably. The staff in the live broadcast room quickly pulled the crazy Anxiron away. "I want to call the police." Bai Hoxuan covered his stomach, his mouth was cracked and bleeding, and his appearance was horrible. He hunched over in pain and looked at Anxiron fiercely, "Call the police." Hashtag. Nanyan was originally sitting on a long chair outside, holding her mobile phone and sending messages to two childish people. The door of the live broadcast room opened, and the sound coming from inside made her frown and stand up and look over there. Anxiron was caught by several staff members, and the organizers next to him supported Bai Hoxuan. Bai Hoxuan kept shouting that Anxiron should go to jail. "What's going on?" Nanyan walked over, her eyes were extremely cold. "Yanyan, it's okay." Anxiron didn't want to scare Nanyan, so he grinned at her. "AEG will be handed over to you to lead the team, and the fourth brother is waiting to see you win the championship." "I'm asking you, what's going on?" Nanyan interrupted him coldly, and her sharp eyes made Anxiron feel guilty and dared not look at her directly. The person who led them into the venue said unhappily, "Mr. and beat people without asking the reason. Mr. Bai, as a victim, chose to call the police and hold him accountable. During the game, if such a bad thing spread, it would not only be Anxiron's responsibility to be held accountable. It would even be magnified and affect the entire esports industry. Did your brain get eaten by a dog? Nanyan's tone became colder and colder, looking at Anziran with cold and stern eyes. Even if she was not at the scene, she could guess the reason. Anziran is not a person without scruples, nor is he so stupid. Baihoxwan definitely used the things he cared about to stimulate him. That made him dizzy and unable to control himself for a while, and fell into his trap. Anziran couldn't bear the pressure and lowered his head, saying in a stammering voice, "Yan Yan, I'm sorry. The way my little sister got angry was so scary." Even if Nan Yan was angry, she couldn't just ignore Anziran and let him be taken away by the police and put in jail. She took off her mask coldly, and her eyes, as black as a cold pond, looked at Baihoxwan indifferently and aggressively. "Let's settle it privately, you set the conditions."